All right, so let's begin resting comfortably on the back. You can use pillows or bolsters to get nice and comfortable here. So just take a few moments to connect with the ground. Wiggling around and finding your body's most comfortable position to relax into. You can have the legs straight or knees bent. Do what feels good for your lower back and your hips. You might need to reposition your pelvis in order to find more length into the low back. Notice the position of your arms and find them settling in a way that helps to relax through your shoulders. Feeling them settle down towards the ground. And if you're holding on to any tension in the hands, can you find them letting go, allowing the fingers to curl naturally, and letting go the whole length of the arms, feeling them settle with gravity. And do the same with your head. Feel free to find a little movement in your neck in order to find the best position for your head to rest in, where you find length in the back of your neck. That's it, letting go of any tension at the base of the skull. And as your head finds center, let go of its full weight and feel your whole face relax. Let some softness come into the eyes and allow the eyes to settle deeper into their sockets. Relax the eyelids. Feel the bridge of your nose smooth. And soften the skin of your forehead. And feel your lower jaw release away from the upper jaw, creating space in the mouth, relaxing into the cheeks. And little by little, as you feel your body's weight letting go, notice the spaces inside your body start to open up a little more. How does the breath move through your body as you rest here? Feel the softness of your belly and try to stay present with the whole depth of your breath. Feel how your ribs expand as your belly rises. And then feel how the ribs narrow and the belly settles with each exhale. Just doing your best to let go of any sense of holding within your body. So you can start to feel your breath slowing down. Allowing the breath to find its own steadier rhythm. As the breath moves effortlessly, feel it deepen. Feel it slow down. And then as you let yourself remain relaxed here, start to tune in to the breath again and let it gradually deepen. And bring some movement back into your body. You can start to wiggle into your hands and your feet, your ankles and your wrists. And then once you feel ready to move, let's go ahead and find a stretch. Stretching the arms back to the wall behind you. And the legs long to the wall in front. All right, and then we can bend the knees, hugging both knees in. And we can check in with the lower back, rocking gently side to side. And then I think we'll come all the way over onto our left side. So we're resting on the left side, and this is where a pillow may also come in handy for underneath your head. And let's find, as we rest on the left side, hips stacked, shoulders stacked, knees stacked, we can find a bit of movement through this top arm. So let's just start with the elbow bent and the hand resting on the shoulder. And see if you can bring the elbow to point up towards the ceiling above that shoulder. And then slowly start to bring it back towards your head, just as far as it goes comfortably. That's it. And then back up towards the sky and down into your side. So feeling this movement at your shoulder. And the whole time, just try to let your head stay nice and relaxed and heavy. That's it. And then you can start to find more of a circle, letting the elbow sweep down in front of you and then back behind you towards your head and in front of you and down and back behind you. So just loosening into the shoulder for now, just finding some motion into that joint. And you're noticing also some movement into the shoulder blade. Shoulder is a rather complicated joint involving many different bones as well and articulations. So we've got our upper arm bone into our shoulder socket, and we've got the collarbone around the back. Let's circle the other way, or sorry, the collarbone in the front and the shoulder blade in the back. So all of those areas will move a little bit as you're circling. That's it, finding your comfortable range of motion in this direction, noticing any tight and sticky spots along the way. Good. Last one. And then let's go ahead and stretch this arm straight up towards the sky. So the shoulder is just sort of, the weight of the arm is heavy, resting into that shoulder. Then let's start to bring the arm, the whole arm, to reach overhead, just as far as the shoulder lets you. And see if you can, while the arm is here, lift your shoulder blade towards the ear. Notice how that feels as you sort of tense up to bring the shoulder blade up, and then try to lower it away from the ear, keeping the arm at that same angle. So try that one more time. Reaching so the shoulder blade lifts, and then just reaching a little less so your shoulder blade rests away from the ear. And see if you can keep the shoulder blade in that position while you're lifting the arm back up and down beside you, and then back up and overhead again. So trying your best to keep that side of your neck long, trying not to bring the shoulder too close to the ear. You're not pulling it away from the ear though, you're just trying not to move with as much tension in that shoulder. Let's do one more. That's it. Now this time let's pause here, and we're going to start to circle the arm now back behind you, and we're going to let the spine follow into the twist that we're familiar with, coming down with the arm and then rolling again onto this left side. Let's reach in front and then back again. That's it. Neck stays relaxed, head heavy as you circle the arm out. Let the upper back follow. So now we can start to feel how the back and the arm are connected. That's it. Let's try for one more big circle. And then next time you come and roll over towards your right shoulder, let's pause into that circle here. Pause into the twist, I mean. So you might shift your shoulders a little bit to the left, and that will help bring that right shoulder a little closer to the ground. At this point, you might feel like you don't really need the pillow, so do what you like. That feels good in your neck. And try to relax out now through the shoulder down towards the floor, out through the right elbow, through the right hand. That's it. And feel free to reach across with your left hand. This is a nice way to just check in with all kinds of different tight areas in the body, right? So checking in with the top hip. You can massage with your fingertips along the side of the thigh, down towards the knee. Notice how it feels in your back as you settle into the twist here, and allow for each exhale to bring you a little closer to the ground through that right side, settling into the floor a little more as you let out the breath. Following the depth of your inhale, moving into that right side, getting lighter. And again, with the exhale, settling closer to the floor. Nice. And then with your next inhale, bring your head back to center. And as you exhale, let's roll back onto the back. And just take a moment, get comfortable. Wiggle around. And then let's roll over onto the right side. So you can have the pillow underneath your head if you like, stretching both arms out in front. Well, actually, we're going to start with the top arm bent. So let's find that. Okay. So just starting first with the elbow pointing up towards the ceiling, and then slowly bringing it back towards your head. Any amount, it doesn't have to go all the way down to the ear, and then down again to your side. So just get that motion first a few times, just as a way to check in with how this arm feels. This left shoulder could feel quite different from the other one. That's it. And then once your elbow comes again towards your head, let's go in a circle forward with the elbow, and then back behind you a little bit. Try not to move the spine just yet. So we're really just trying to feel the movement in the shoulder. A little bit through the shoulder blade, just noticing any of that motion without involving the spine. That's it. What do you feel moving? Where do you feel maybe some stuck areas that aren't moving so well? And then we can find those circles the other way as well. So as the arm circles back behind you, try not to move your upper body just yet. That's it. Nice. Feel the breath. One more in this direction. All right, and then bring the arm back up right above the shoulder. So feeling your shoulder resting sort of into the back a little bit. And then bringing the arm overhead, just at whatever angle. It doesn't matter if it's up here or down by the floor. What matters is you're comfortable in your neck and in your shoulder. And then you're going to try to actually lift your shoulder blade towards your ear, like pull it towards the ear. Yeah, and you might notice a bit more of a stretch in that left side, right? And then bring the shoulder blade away from the ear. Pull the shoulder blade towards the ear. You might notice some extra tension around the top of that left shoulder. And then bring the shoulder blade down away from the ear. Okay, so can we keep it there as we lift the arm up and then down towards the hip, and stretching the arm back up and overhead, trying to keep that side of the neck long the whole time. Long and relaxed as we find this movement in the shoulder, not a huge amount of lift in that shoulder blade. That's it. And then we can start to circle. So whenever you're ready, let this left arm circle behind you and pull the twist through the spine, down towards the hip. And again, on to that right side, drawing as large of a circle as feels good in this shoulder. So now we're letting the upper back move, coming into the twist as the arm circles back to the left, and coming out of the twist as we roll again onto that right side. Nice. Go for one more full circle, taking your time, just a nice warm up for the shoulder, the spine, and then we can land into this twist and notice how it feels on this side. So getting comfortable, shifting as you need to feel as supported as you can across both shoulders. Resting out through the left arm, even resting the head in that direction. And then, yeah, feel free to reach across with this right hand. Across to the top hip, the outer hip, glute area, outer thigh, down towards the knee. You might notice some tight and tender spots there. And then try to settle into the breath here. Follow the depth of your inhale. Notice where it moves. And where can you find a little more softness with each exhale? Letting go into the ground. All right, let's inhale, bring the head back to center. Exhale, coming onto the back again. All right. So let's just have the knees bent with the feet on the ground. And we'll find a little bit more movement in the arms. We'll do both arms. So maybe we'll start with the arms reaching back. Okay, so you've got the palms maybe facing up to the ceiling. And as your arms are stretching back, you can keep them as low to the floor as is comfortable in your shoulders and neck, and where you can go before your ribs lift. So if you notice your ribs are poking up, try to press down through the backs of your ribs, keeping that connection with the ground while your arms stretch back. Neck stays long. So feel your fingertips reaching to the back of the room, but at the same time, feel your neck lengthening in that direction as well, so that your shoulders aren't lifting too close to the ears, okay? And with that, let's basically try to keep the arms, the hands at the same height, so trying not to bring them any higher or lower necessarily. We're gonna make fists with the hands. Pull down, elbows go out to the sides. That's it, because you're trying to keep the hands and the elbows on that same level. And then you might pull the elbows in close to your sides. Then we're going to straighten the arms again. Reach back, stretch back, keep the neck long. Exhale, make fists, pull down. Try to land your fists more in line with your shoulders rather than out here to the sides. Each inhale, you're finding a stretch back with the arms. Each exhale, pulling, hands in close to the shoulders, elbows in close to the sides. Breathe in, stretch back with the arms. Exhale, pull down, hands in front of shoulders. 2 more like that. And the whole time, can your neck stay relaxed? Can your head stay heavy as you feel these movements in your arms, your shoulders, with your breath? Good. 1 more. When we pull this time, let's pause. Okay. And we're going to let the arms now come down to the floor. Let's open the palms to face the sky. So we've got the backs of the hands ideally on the ground, just as much as your elbows are on the floor. Your shoulders are also on the floor. Okay. Then let's try to keep the hands and the elbows at the same height when we just very, very slightly lift the arms away from the ground. So what you might notice is that your hands lift higher than your elbows, and see if you can keep your elbows and your hands on the same level. So in fact, lift the elbows a little more, lower the hands a little more. Yes, so you're trying to keep some of that rotation, outward, external rotation through the shoulders. Notice how that feels. Yeah, can you feel like your elbows are reaching away from your sides, almost like the elbows want to touch the sides of the room while they're hovering off the ground? Just noticing that work in your shoulders, maybe a bit of stretch across the front of the chest. Then we're going to slowly bring the arms up. Feel like you're pressing something invisible narrower and narrower and narrower. Try to bring the hands together and try to bring your elbows towards each other too. They may or may not get together, and that's okay. Press back down. Imagine you're moving against a bit of resistance, and actively now make contact with the floor and press your hands, your elbows, your shoulders down into the ground without too much tension. Yep, back it up if you need to. That's it. Stay with another breath as you're pressing into the arms, into the floor. And then again, hover. That's it. And slow motion. Bring the hands in, trying to keep the elbows in line with the hands. If you can't bring the elbows together, it's okay. Bring the hands together and the elbows as close as they do. And then again, wide, slow motion going down. Feel like you're resisting gravity. The closer you get to the floor, the slower you go. Yes. And then you finally find the ground again. Press the arms down, not to the point where your neck tenses, not to the point where your ribs poke up. Just feeling the connection with the floor, from shoulders through elbows into the backs of the hands. That's it. One more time. Let the hands and elbows lift. Try not to bring the hands higher than the elbows though. And then slowly pressing in above you. That's it. Very good. Hold the press. Press the hands. Press the elbows in towards each other. Feel one more breath there. Soften the neck, soften the jaw. And then nice and slowly bring the elbows wide and down again. And the closer you get to the ground, the slower you go. Resist gravity. Take your time. All right, nice. Let's see if we can keep the arms like this. If this doesn't feel good anymore, straighten the arms more like a T shape, okay? So your elbows are either bent around 90 degrees or out more like a T shape. Perfectly fine either way. Let's find our feet. Walk the feet in, heels underneath the knees, and maybe rock a bit from toes to heels a few times. So as we connect with the ground through the feet, pressing into the floor, let's also connect with the ground through the arms. So press down through the arms, from shoulders, through elbows, through hands, and slowly peel the spine up as we press into the feet. Let the hips lift. That's it. As the hips lift, feel your tailbone reach towards your knees. And then keep pressing into those arms a little more. Just enough to feel them connecting more with the ground. Okay, not so much to tense and lose the breath. Okay, so find that balance in yourself as you follow another breath here. Really nice. And then start to roll the spine back down again, all the way to the floor. Let's release those arms. They've been externally rotated for quite a long time. and hug the knees in. Just rock a little bit across your back. Okay. All right, let's come on over onto our side so we can press up to hands and knees. And feel free to use a bit of padding underneath the knees here. And we'll find a little more movement, maybe for now, into the shoulders. So let's start out by finding the support through both hands. Hands under the shoulders, knees and under the hips, tops of feet, feel their connection with the ground too. So start out by moving your shoulder blades towards your ears, trying to sort of glide them forward towards the ears, and then see if you can move them down the back, further away from your ears. That's it. Gliding the shoulder blades forward towards the ears, and then moving them down away from the ears. So can you do this movement without bending the elbows? And without like moving your spine, your upper body, you know? So basically your hips are gonna stay still right over your knees. And what's moving is not your spine, but your shoulders. Your shoulder blades elevate towards the ears and glide down away from the ears. Okay. And then try to find sort of a happy medium place where the shoulders sit, where you're not pulling them away from the ears, but they're also not up towards the ears. Somewhere a little further down the back. And then see if you can allow the elbows to stay straight. As we lower the chest, what we're doing is bringing the shoulder blades towards each other. And then we're going to widen that space between the shoulder blades and push into the hands. So feel the shoulder blades come towards each other and then push the floor away and feel the shoulder blades widen apart. So they're staying the same distance away from the ears through both of these movements. Okay, and letting your neck stay in line with the rest of your spine as you find this motion in your shoulder blades. Okay, and then again, try to find more the happy medium spot where there's some space between the shoulder blades. You're not pushing them really wide, nor are you bringing them towards each other. And then with that, let's bring the right arm forward, okay? So with that right arm stretching forward, let's do the same action we did on the back, but just this one arm at a time. So we're gonna make a fist and pull back, trying to keep the elbow pointing out to the side as we bend it. And so the hand lands in front of that shoulder. And then we can open the palm and reach the arm forward, make a fist, pull back again. That's it. Find your inhale and feel your exhale. It might be easier to straighten your left leg at the same time here. It shares the weight a little better. That's it. One last time. Maybe the next time you reach forward with this right arm, we can lift the left leg, stretching it back for a moment to pause here. Notice your neck, notice your head, bring it in line with the rest of the spine, maybe up a little tiny bit. There you go. And then come on back and rest. Rest into child's pose. Feel free to bring something under your head. Maybe it's just a couple of stacked fists for your head to relax, neck to soften, and breath can slow down. Okay, and then come on back up onto hands and knees again. So you're finding the support through the arms into the shoulder blades, just noticing where they sit, trying to find them away from the ears, a little bit away from each other. That's it. And then as you keep everything level, let's send the left arm forward and feel some reach through the left arm. And then pull back, trying to bring your elbow out to the side as it bends, and then reach forward again. Pulling and stretching forward. The whole time the neck stays long. If you want to balance it out a little better, straighten your right leg, toes curled under on the floor, as you keep this movement going in this left arm. That's it. As you pull back, the kind of shoulder blade pulls back even more. Reach forward, neck stays long. Last one. Stretching this left arm forward, let's find a moment to lift the right leg. Feel the front body. Lift away from the ground a little more. Pushing the floor away from you through that right hand, maybe lifting your gaze slightly. Really nice. Good, bring it back and rest again. So relaxing here. Noticing the nature of your breath. And giving everything a chance to find some softness again. Okay, now let's come forward into table pose and bring the hands a little forward in front of the shoulder so we can take this back, curl the toes under. Before we come back into downward dog, let's just do a few rocking table poses, okay, where we're shifting our weight a little forward and then moving a little back and trying to find that movement without rounding or arching your back, trying to keep it in this pretty stable, neutral position. And what's moving are your shoulders and your hips and your wrists and your knees. So when your hips are going back, your head, your neck stays long, reaching in the opposite direction. So next time your hips go a tiny bit further back, your shoulders are behind your wrists, let's slowly send the hips up and rest the head here between the arms. Feel free to find a little movement in the neck, resting the head between the arms as you nod it no and nod it yes. Nice. So as you keep the lift of your hips, try to send your heels back and down, stretching through the legs. You got it. All right, so let's walk the feet forward to the hands and take all the weight right here into the legs. So dangle the upper body freely over that support. And as you let go of the weight of your head, let's just find a bit of a release here through the back. Knees stay as bent as you need for more movement to come through the hips, allowing for more length to travel down the spine. Come into the breath. Notice how the breath is as you're here half upside down. And then let's keep the head heavy and we'll roll it up quite slowly. So press down through the feet, pull up and in through the belly and roll yourself up, stacking your spine until your head comes up last. All right. Okay. So if you still have any sort of pillow or blanket there, just keep it nearby because we're going to go back onto the knees, but not for a little bit. Okay. So let's come towards the front of the mat and we'll take a moment to find a bit of balance before we step the foot back into a warrior shape. So you might bring your hands to your hips, finding the support into your right foot. Let's slowly lift the left knee in front. So see if you can feel the support down through your right foot while you're pulling up through your left knee. So pulling that left knee higher while you push further down through your right leg. That's it. Feel that support for another breath. And then nice and slowly, try to step this left foot back as slowly as you can until the toes land first. And then bring the heel to the floor. So you're trying to keep the whole body facing forward. That's it. So your back heel is down, your front knee is bent, back leg is strong and straight. So from here, let's take the hands wide again out to the sides. So they're out like this, and we can go ahead and once more bend the elbows. So very similar to what we did on the back, right? Where we can imagine the back of the hand and the elbows are on the ground or on an imaginary wall behind you. And you're trying to keep that connection for now, pressing back, but without poking your ribs forward. So just noticing that for yourself. That's it. And then feel how your shoulder blades are right now right up against your back, right? Shoulder blades are on the ribs. See if you can keep that as you rotate to turn the palms down. And then back up. Rotate down and rotate up. One more time, rotate down. Notice how your shoulders, you're not letting them come all the way up like this, trying to keep them away from the ears. That's it. And then let's take the arms to straighten out to the sides. And see if you can rotate a little more so the thumbs point down. We're gonna reach the hands behind us so that what we're gonna do is take the hands to rest on the sacrum. So maybe just one on either side of the top of your hips there. Okay. So can you feel the shoulder blades still against your back as you bring a little bit of movement maybe? Find some movement in those shoulder blades. So as your elbows go forward, your shoulder blades are going to widen away from each other. And as your elbows move back, shoulder blades kind of come in a bit closer together and against your back a little more. See if you can feel that action. Okay. Next time you bring the elbows back, can you keep that strength in the back? Now, this one's tricky. Can you try to lift your hands away from your back without letting your shoulders kind of poke forward or lift up? So the idea is to try to keep the shoulders down and in towards the back as the elbows point back, or out to the sides, I mean. Hands lift away from the body. There you go. Be there for one more breath. Whew. And then lower the arms. Turn the palms to face away from you. Slowly sweep them up. And as the arms lift, do you feel any more freedom around the shoulders? Push down through your right foot. You're in warrior one. Bend through that front knee and lifted and light through the neck. All that space around the shoulders for another breath here. Good. Let's slowly take the hands to the floor. So you're going to bend this front knee as much as you need to bring the hands to the ground. We're going to step this back into downward dog. Let's go there. That's it. Finding your downward dog shape. Feeling the length in the neck, the lift of the hips, and the breath. Slow and steady. Good. Let's lower the knees to the ground. We're back on hands and knees, so feel free to have the pillow there if you'd like. Okay. And then as we bring the right arm bent at 90 degrees once again, what we're going to do is simply lift the arm up at shoulder height, trying not to bring the elbow higher than the hand. So see if you're able to keep the hand at the same level as the elbow, and then underneath you. So out to the side and underneath you. And then we can get a little more movement in the opposite leg. So let the left knee hover and bring that left knee out to the side while the right arm goes out to the side and then back underneath you. Out and under. So noticing how your elbow might want to lead and your hand might want to be lower. And see if you can keep the hand in line with the elbow. One more time, maybe holding for a moment, both limbs out to the side. Really nice. And then come on back down and rest in child's pose. That's it. A little surprise there. So soften everything, especially the shoulders. And allow for the weight of the head to settle. Good. Coming back up onto hands and knees. Let's try it on the other side. So now the left elbow bends at 90 degrees, and let's just find this first. So feel the support in your table pose, strong and long through the whole spine, broad and lifted through the belly as we lift the left elbow out and back under the shoulder. And the whole time you're trying to keep the hand at the same level as the elbow. Can you keep the elbow from moving back when you bring it out? Can you let it come straight out to the side? And then you can, if you like, start to move the right knee out as the elbow goes out. That's it. And you're trying to keep that right knee bent at around 90 degrees as well. So we're working into the core as well as the hip and shoulder here. Try for another. And then you might pause for the last one. Pause and hold as you're still breathing. Whew. All right, bring it back and relax and rest. Again, check in with your breath. Feel your exhales slowing down. Slowing the heart rate, bringing a bit of space for a deeper inhale to flow in. Really nice. Okay, let's come back up through table, hands a little forward of those shoulders, curl the toes under. And as you lift the hips, push forward and down through the hands. Release the head between the arms and find your strength and length here in this shape. Can be quite helpful to keep a little softness in the knees. And with that little bend staying in the knees, you might be able to send your sitting bones a tiny bit higher while the heels reach a little further down and back. That's it. All right, once again, we can walk the feet forward to the hands. Take all the weight there into the legs. And I haven't forgotten about that other side for the standing pose. So first, just let the head release. And we'll roll it up. Roll it up slowly. Pull up and in through the belly. Rounding all the way to standing. Whew. Okay. So here we are in mountain pose again. And let's this time feel the support of the left foot. So bringing your weight into that left leg. As you stand into the left leg, feel your right knee pull up. Hands can be on the hips, hands can be wide to help with balance, whatever works for you to be here with breath. Pulling up on the right knee while you're pushing down through the left leg. Still with breath. And then as slowly as you can, step that right foot behind you. Toes land, heel lands, so you don't want to step too far back that your heel doesn't come to the floor. So just reposition if that's the case for you and just try to find where you feel supported through the legs. So now we can get a little space into the front of that right hip after pulling the knee up and working into that hip flexor. Keep the front knee bent, back leg strong. Okay, let's take both arms again wide out to the sides. So, elbows bent once more. Let's feel the shoulder blades against the back again. Press these arms back just the tiniest bit more through the hands, through the elbows. Notice if the ribs have pushed forward. Pull them back in a little more. That's it. All right. And then we're just going to reach the arms straight and turn palms to face back. Reach back behind you. And we can try to do this now with the hands maybe interlaced or palms together up the back. So we were doing it before like this, and this is perfectly fine. If you can come any closer and hold, you can do that wherever you can comfortably reach, or you can bring the palms together. But we're still finding the exact same movement that we found earlier, where we're trying to bring the elbows and the upper arm bones back and down. So the elbows are kind of reaching behind you and down the back a little bit more. That's it. And then, yeah, notice how the ribs will want to push forward. Draw up a little more through the pubic bone. That's it. Pull in through the lower ribs. And finale, can you let the hands lift a tiny bit away from your back? Working into the backs of the shoulders, into the upper back, backs of the arms even a little bit. So can you feel this for one more breath? All that space through the front of your chest. That's it, through the neck. And can we keep it as we lower the arms, turn the palms to face out, float them up. As your arms lift, find your warrior stance. Press strongly back through your right foot. Lift up from that right hip and breathe into all that space you feel. Really nice. All right, let's slowly lower the hands to the floor. Okay, so bringing the palms to the ground, we'll step this back again into downward dog. So let's pause in downward dog. Find the lift of your hips and the release of your head down, and the reach of the heels back and down. Noticing the quality of the breath here. So let's keep the reach of the legs back. So feel your heels reaching back. Pull up a little more on the belly. Pubic bone, bring it towards your navel. Tailbone reaches towards your heels as you come forward into your plank. So we're pushing the floor away from us. And you can notice how your shoulder blades have widened further away from each other. And that's good. So you're lifting your chest, you're lifting your front body away from the floor. That's it, as you're pushing the floor away from you. Let the neck be in line with the spine. That's it. And then lower the knees if you haven't already. It's all good. And then keep a lift through the belly so that when you bend your elbows, you're trying to land your chest and your belly at the same time. Whew. And that's the challenge right there. And then come on to the belly and just take a moment to relax. So let everything soften, let everything find the support of the floor here. You can relax your head, make a pillow for it if you'd like. And with each exhale, can you feel the front of your body softening and melting down into the ground a little more? And follow the depth of your inhale, moving into your lower back. Okay, so we're going to find pretty much those same movements that we've been doing in the shoulders in this position. So being on the belly and lifting the arms away from the floor in that position will challenge them in different ways. So let's start out with the elbows bent at around like a W shape, you know, so they don't have to be up here by the shoulders, but a little closer to your sides and below your shoulders, palms down. You can start with your forehead on the floor. I'm just going to keep mine hovered a little bit so I don't muffle the mic. Let's press into the tops of the feet. Just maybe even lift one leg at a time, reach one leg back, and then the other leg back. So you just get a little more space through the front hips, front thighs, tops of feet, finding the ground. So you're welcome to do this with either the head hovering slightly or the head staying on the ground. And what we're going to try to do is lift the elbows and hands, staying on the same level. So imagine your hands are on this track at this height, whatever height that is for you. And we're going to pull with the fist closed, pull back, elbows into your sides, and then we can open the palms and reach the arms in front. And that's the hardest part. And then we're pulling back again. That's it. So reach forward. The whole time the hands stay just maybe a slightly wider than shoulder distance, and pull back. Reach, breathing in, pull, breathing out. Maybe you want to try with your head and chest slightly off the ground. If that doesn't feel good in your neck or in your lower back, then feel free to keep the head and chest down and just feel this movement in the shoulders. And it's great both ways. Yep. 2 more. Try to keep the tops of the feet on the ground though, so the legs are rooted. Good. Let's do one more. Last one. Pull back, and let's pause here. If it's comfortable to lift your head and chest at this point, try it out for one last breath. That's it. Hands in line with shoulders. You got it. And then let it go. Relax and rest. If you felt any discomfort in your low back, it can be quite helpful to just bend your knees and do a little windshield wiper of your feet side to side. Just loosening into the pelvis and low back there. Really nice. Okay. And then let's take the hands out to the sides to start. Arms wide. Lift the arms. Turn the palms to face up so we can reach the arms back and just place the hands on sort of the upper buttocks, you know? So they don't have to interlace. You can keep them a little separated. Head down or hovered, whatever feels good for you. Try to feel your tailbone reaching back with your legs reaching back away from your head. That's it. And can you get that action we did when we were standing, where you're going to lift your elbows away from the floor and feel how that brings the shoulder blades a little closer together, and then lower the elbows and just notice how that brings the shoulder blades further apart. And just try to get a sense of that. Yep. And then next time you reach your elbows away from the floor, feel your shoulders also moving down away from the ears. And then if it's comfortable, lift your chest and your head. Either way, your head can stay down and you can just work into the shoulders, and that's perfectly good too. Now, can you lift your hands away from your back? Even just the suggestion of lift may be enough, right? Yes. Very good. And then let it go. Whew. Reposition the arms in any way that feels best. Soften here for another breath. All right. Last one. So feel the ground through the tops of your feet. Press down a little bit into the pubic bone so the tailbone reaches back with your legs. Okay, and you find a bit of a lift up and in through the belly. There's support there too. Okay, let's start with the arms out wide. So as your arms are out wide like a T shape, go ahead and once again lift them away from the floor. Head and chest might want to float up a little bit as well. That's it. Feel your shoulder blades pulling down towards the armpits, like down into the armpits. That's it. And then reach the arms back. And let's just keep the arms straight this time. Feel as though someone's pulling on your arms straight back. That's it. Reach back with the legs as well. And if it's comfortable to lift your legs at this point, keeping them straight too, you can give that a try. There you go. Notice the breath. Where does it move as you're here? Fantastic. Take the hands back to the floor beside your chest, feet to the ground. We're going to press back up through table. That's it. We're going back into child's pose. Noticing some nice stretch and width coming into the back, the low back, back ribs. Breathe into that space. Okay, let's come forward again onto hands and knees. Bring the hands a little forward of those shoulders again. Notice where your shoulders are and try to feel the neck stay long. Shoulders against the back, maybe a tiny bit further down from the ears. And see if you can keep that as we come back into downward dog. Yeah, so we're lifting the hips, but trying to maintain some of that strength and support around the shoulders. Really nice. And that will help to actually free up the neck. When we find the muscles that are under the shoulder blades and between the shoulder blades more, those muscles that are above the shoulder blades, the ones that lift the shoulders towards the ears, can actually relax a little more. Yeah. So working on finding a little more balance around those shoulder blades. More integrated strength. All right. Okay, let's come forward again, standing, walking the feet towards the hands. Take all the weight into the legs once again and try to really release the head. So bringing your chin towards your chest, and you might feel a little more space come into the back of the neck and the base of the skull. That's it. Can you keep the head heavy and start to roll it up slowly? One vertebra at a time. Head and arms just follow. All right. Hopefully you're feeling good in the shoulders and not too bad in the low back as well. Let's come into a wider stance now. Okay. And as we come into this sort of goddess stance with the toes turned out a little more than the heels, don't worry about going super wide with your feet though, maybe just slightly wider than shoulder distance. So let's start out, I'm falling back here, is you want to try to feel the weight into the outer edges of your feet and into your heels, just as much as the inner edges and toes, which is where we tend to sort of fall in on those inner arches here. So trying to shift your weight out without falling back. So let's imagine the tailbone pointing straight down towards the space between the heels. And the rest of the spine is tall, right up above the hips. Okay, so we're going to try to keep our spine pretty vertical, ribs in the center as we bend the knees. So noticing that each knee is pointing with each foot. Okay, and then let's find this action again one more time through the shoulders. Okay, so imagine the hands reaching back just as much as your elbows, okay? They're pushing towards the wall behind you. Then we're gonna move. As we inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the legs, reach up. As you exhale, pull down again with those elbows, maybe even a little bit down further. Pull the shoulder blades down. Yes. Inhale, stretch up, keep the neck long and happy. Exhale, come down through center. That's it, lovely. So imagine as you're moving your arms, they're brushing that wall behind you the whole time. So you're trying not to let the arms come in front of you. Yes. But the backs of the ribs are also against the wall, so that's the tricky part. Lovely. Try for 2 more. Really good. Last one. And then let's hold this goddess shape, all right? Feel the length in the spine. Pull up a little more through the pubic bone. That's it. Draw those lower ribs in. Find more of that core support while you're also pressing the elbows and the hands back. Nice. Feel one last breath. Good, let's lift the heels just for a moment. Pivot on those toes. Yes, so now your toes are facing forward in front of the heels. Let's take the hands behind our backs. Just interlace the fingers, a nice passive stretch now. As we interlace the fingers or hold on to something behind the back, if you can't quite do that comfortably, open the chest. Pull down with those arms. Let the head just follow. Back of the neck stays comfy. That's it. And then fold forward over the legs. Really nice. So as you're going forward with your spine and your head, try to keep reaching the arms a little further back and up. That's it. Knees can be as bent as you like to feel a comfortable stretch here in your legs and in your back. Settle into another breath. Good. Lower the hands. All right, let's slowly walk the hands over towards one foot, making your way into downward dog. So whatever way that makes sense to you, I'm going to do it through a lunge on the one side and then stepping back. That's it. So this is, I promise, the last downward dog. Noticing how are things feeling for you in your shoulders, in your neck, in your upper back. All right, and then lower down, knees to the floor. Let's come to sit. We can stretch out the legs in front. So we never did use that block, and I think that's quite all right. You can feel free to sit up on it if you want, or sit up just on a pillow or folded blanket. And let's find a little bit of sort of more loose movement. Well, yeah, stretching. So let's just sit cross-legged. And just notice how you sit cross-legged, if it's, you know, which leg is in front. And just something to notice. All right. Find your spine in the center, nice and tall, upright. Notice where the head sits. If it's forward of your shoulders, try to bring it back a little bit without lifting the chin. That's it. And then notice where your navel is, where it's pointing. Notice where your chest is pointing straight ahead. And we're going to try to turn that to the right. So twisting to the right without pulling on the arms just yet. Just find the turn of your spine in the center. And then we can rest the hands where they land. Left hand anywhere on that opposite leg maybe, right hand somewhere behind or beside you, and then find the twist through the neck. So the neck turns last. What turns first is lower, right? The waist, the ribs, the shoulders, and then the head follows. And we can check in with the neck a little bit here too. What you might do is nod your head a little to the left. Left ear towards the left shoulder, while your right hand is a little bit behind you and down, you'll notice a bit more of a stretch from that right shoulder to the right ear. That's it. Good, and then bring your head back up through center. While we stay in this little bit of a twist, so you might come out of it slightly, just facing the right leg. Let's bring our upper body over this right leg a little more. Right hand can stay behind you, but stretch the left arm out, sort of at an angle from the knee out onto the floor. And while you do that, push down into the hip you're stretching away from, and you're going to notice a big stretch maybe coming into that back left side. So you're kind of rounding a little bit into that back left side to give it a nice gentle stretch. Good. Come back through center. Just walk the hands in front of you or on either side and just take a moment forward over the legs. Check in with your hips and with your back for another breath here. Good. And then start to stack the spine, rolling it up to sitting tall once again. Okay, let's try it out on the other leg in front. All right, so switching the leg you have in front of you. So it can be quite helpful just to feel where your shoulders are. You know, try to bring them above your hips, head above your shoulders. And you're just going to try to keep the arms like that, whether they're in whatever position you want, as you twist through your spine. Right, so turning maybe once or twice, coming in and out of that twist just to notice what is turning, what is leading the way. Are you leading with your head? Can you let your head just follow so that when you land in the twist through your spine and your arms can rest, then you can find the turn of the neck, getting into that right side of the neck a little bit, you might notice. A bit of a stretch there. Maybe you tip your head to the right ear, bringing that left shoulder a little further back and down. Just going where your neck wants to go, really. That's it. Bring your head back to center. So you might come out of the twist just slightly. So you're facing more the left knee. So you can feel like you're first lifting up through the belly, over the pubic bone, coming forward any amount. Right hand lands on the floor. You can kind of claw the ground with your fingertips if you want. So as you push into the right hand, you're also pressing back down into the right hip. And you're going to feel more of a stretch in that back right side. It's kind of a tricky spot to get into, so play around with it a little and feel each breath here. Nice. And then coming back through center, so with this left leg in front, or whichever leg is in front for you, you can come forward and notice how it feels on this side through that hip and into the back. Really good. And then once again, stack your spine to sitting. We can lean into the hands, stretch back, or lean back and stretch out the legs, finding some motion through those hips and ankles and knees. Okay, and then let's make our way back onto the back. And feel free to, again, find support as you like. Pillows, bolsters, blankets. If you happen to have an eye pillow at home, feel free to bring it out. And so we did quite a bit of movement and awakening into the shoulders and upper back. So just notice how your upper back lands into the floor here. How your shoulders rest down towards the ground, maybe a little closer. Positioning your arms in a way that feels nice and relaxed, from the shoulders into the hands. And once again, settle into the breath. As the breath flows, follow its path of movement within your body. Because we opened up quite a bit around the front of the chest too, you might sense the breath moving more easily into that space. So just notice what it is you feel as you rest here. Come back to sense yourself resting here. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the rhythm of your breath. And begin to slowly reawaken the body, moving into the hands and the feet, the head and the neck. And feel free to enjoy another full body stretch again before you rest on your side. Coming up to any comfortable position you want. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.